Hi, everybody. Today is day 1315, and let me see if I'm on here. Thank you so much for coming on and watching. I know this is going on and on, but there's not a dull moment. Here it is. I see it. I'm on. Okay, so, when all of this started, the chaos was extreme, and we were getting lots of information, and of course, a lot of false information, and that includes Richard's car. So, we are in the process of trying to get the truth about where Richard's car is, what happened to Richard's car. We never really um, received the truth about that. And so it's leading to certain individuals, and that are, just questions need to be answered. And it seems like, just a small part of this whole thing, um, to be concerned about his vehicle, but maybe it's part of the crime scene. Why didn't they want us to have his car? Because there are so many irregularities around his vehicle. It's very, very important. So we've made strides in that. And, there's so much crime in this case. And I really suggest, I'm pleading for people that have family connections, maybe professional connections. Maybe they were interfered with. Maybe they were strong armed into doing things that they knew wasn't right. Participated in this case in a very wrong way, in a criminal way that wasn't right. And I just feel like they need to come clean, because this case is breaking open. Every day it breaks more and more open. And, a lot of people, um, there's so many people involved. And, I just feel like because of the family connections and being, persuaded to participate, maybe even took a bribe or something. I don't know what persuaded them to do these criminal activities when it comes to the life of a whistleblower, a life of a United States soldier, the life of our son and brother and uncle and godfather, and yeah, Richard's a godfather. Um, you know, to take action against a human being like this, for what? Did you sell out a bowl of lentils, 40 coins, 40 gold coins? I don't know. Um, but it is such a betrayal, and I just want to say, I think it's time to come clean, and we've been saying this for a while, because we have seen the direction that this case has gone into, that the truth can't be stopped, and it's coming out. It's coming out just with the names of false witnesses when it comes to Richard's vehicle. And there's, just so many things coming out with the Walmart case. Um, just recently, they had the status hearing, and the status hearing really is something to behold. Went back, and Team Farm Richard Halliday looked at that, and so many things came out of that status hearing. And one of the peculiar instances is that the judge had to tell everybody that the lawyers in this case are good, that they're very good. I'm like, really? Really? That means they're bad, y'all. Okay? That means they're bad. When a judge has to come out and tell the community, hey, these losers are really good, then they're really losers, right? And we know that um, from all of the evidence that we have been uh, putting out there in the form of memes, in form of articles, hard evidence, um, also just sharing links of other people's articles about Bill Hicks, the district attorney there, that is really, I don't even think he's a district attorney. I think you need to call him Mr. Bill Hicks, because he has not clarified that he signed that statement of officer. Uh, this is the anti-bribe statement before he took his oath of office, and it's clear that he didn't, and it's clear that there are huge allegations that he even tampered with the timestamp on it, and so he is really not legal. He's not really the legal DA. And the judge is saying, "Oh, these are good lawyers, right? These are good lawyers." He doesn't even know how to get into the oath of office when he knows how to do it, right? He knows. I mean, you don't go into a DA without knowing how to make sure you sign your papers so that you can actually fulfill your duties. It's especially a district attorney when you are supposed to be the prosecutor for a amazing place like El Paso, Texas, right? So the other thing about, um, and I'm sure Madrano knows this, I'm sure Judge Madrano knows this, and that is that Bill Hicks was representing Purchase Funeral Homes until he took that oath of office, okay? So that means he's a witness in the very case he's supposed to prosecute. And the judge is going, "Oh, these are good lawyers." No, he's supposed to recuse himself. If he was a good lawyer, he would say, "No, I cannot be a part of this case because my client is Purchase Funeral Homes, who, played a huge part in the aftermath with the remains of the victims of this case, you know? So, and then of course, um, uh, you know, not to just pick on Bill Hicks. I mean, there's plenty to pick on there because, I don't understand why he got appointed when there's so many really great lawyers out there that are up to speed, and Bill Hicks is not one of them. His record is pretty bad. He's had bar complaints about him, uh, and it, and also, he didn't even pass his bar exam the first time around. Uh, which is, I'm not downing that. I'm just saying, in order to be the district attorney of El Paso, there's 3 counties. They should get the best of the best. There's plenty of lawyers out there. They should get the best of the best. Why him? Okay? And why him with a conflict of interest when you have a case that's as big as the August 3rd, 2019 Walmart mass shooting, August 3rd being Dallas Hart's birthday. Just want to let you know. I don't think there's any coincidences in any of this, because it's not a coincidence that this so many of the same people in the August 3rd, 2019 Walmart mass shooting. Those those people, they are the same as in our son's case. Okay, that's not a coincidence either. Okay, there's no other cases like that. Show me a case like that. There is no other case like that. That's why this is, you know, one case, one big case. And when the judge, um, when the judge uh, doesn't even make a date for a trial date, or even a guess, maybe a guess for a trial date. He doesn't even try, but he's out there saying, "Oh, these lawyers are good lawyers," and they're far from it. Far from it. Something is being hid. Something is, they don't want it to go forward. They want to hide it. They want to leave it in pieces, just like John Briggs was always doing. Right? He was always just leaving it in pieces, and so that's what it looks like with this status hearing. And not just to pick on those two and leave Joe Spencer out, Joe Spencer and Felix Valenzuela, the attorneys for Patrick Crusius. Um, where was Patrick Crusius at the status hearing? They're talking about him being sentenced to death, and he's not there. Uh, you know, why can't he come out? Is his autism so severe? He's having severe mental health condition. Not he's not ill. He has a severe mental health condition. And to me, every time they bring him out, every time we see what's going on with him, it's very, very clear. It's kind of like, this, uh, it's kind of like Biden right now, right? Every time he's brought out into the public, you see his severe mental health condition. He's not ill. He has a severe mental health condition. And no way could he be doing what he's doing without handlers. And it's the same thing with Patrick Crusius. He cannot do what he's doing without handlers. I mean, just look at, to me, these past videos. I'm looking at them. I'm looking at what he's wearing. I'm looking at his demeanor. I'm looking at everything. And I'm like, he has some handlers. I can almost date the handlers. So that means that he could never have committed this kind of crime, and that he doesn't have the mental capacity to uh, be this racist set, that these vile and vulgar accusations that they say. And this is not excuses for Patrick Crusius. Is he a bad guy? Was he there? Did he commit a crime? Yes. And is he going to serve 90 life sentences back to back, 8,000 years in the Alcatraz of the Rockies? Yes. He has already been sentenced. And, but right now, he's in the custody of the state. And he's right across the street, literally right across the street from that hearing, that status hearing. And they're talking about him being put to death. Where is he? Where is he? He should have been there. And he's young. And if he could pull off this Walmart mass shooting, then they needed to drag him out over to the status hearing. You see. No, they're letting him sleep. What are they doing? They don't want to disturb his lunchtime or something. What's going on? They the word that we got is that they didn't even conduct a mental health screening on him. Why? Because they don't want to put it in paper that he is autistic and that he has a severe mental health condition, right? Um, and who's his daddy? And what's going on here? So it's very, there's so many questions, and so Joe Spencer is just milking the system, hey, Governor Abbott, give us some more money, we need it for this case, this very big case. It's such a terrible case. He's a racist, this is a big case. More money, and really, what I believe that they're trying to do, what Team Find Richard Halliday believes that they're trying to do, is hide the true nature of the crime, along with what happened to Richard, because Richard's case came first, and his whistleblowing, that absolutely, we received confirmation. We were looking through our notes again, that there was an audit. Even Lieutenant General Sean Bernabe chimed in to that there was an audit on Fort Bliss before they got there. You have to understand that the audit was under Major General Clem Coward and Major General Patrick Ernest Matlock, and they were up to no good, and they were being audited, and that audit, we believe, was in part brought in because of Richard's whistleblowing complaints. And that would be, in 2019, 2020, the complaints. And, this Walmart mass shooting, a result of the diversion for the audits, what was going on. And we know that the tactical move storage units are part of this case, and they were loaded, and we're hearing that they were loaded with M4s, and that's exactly what Glendon Oakley Jr. was saying. There was a lot of M4s on that day, August 3rd, 2019. And then, of course, intelligence has told us through Team Find Richard Halliday that there were brown tip bullets. I never knew what brown tip bullets were. I never even knew they existed. I didn't even know the name. Call me existentialist. They would say, "Oh, brown tip bullets." I'm like, "Oh, they don't exist. Why don't they exist?" Well, because I've never seen them. I've never, read about them. I didn't, uh, uh, there's no registration of them, so therefore they don't exist. Well, hey, existentialism doesn't work, right? Because they do. They do exist, just because they're not registered, just because I haven't seen them, just because, the Special Ops says they exist, and our intelligence team found Richard Halliday there in El Paso, and elsewhere have said at the crime scene on August 3rd, 2019, there were brown tip bullets. And, the pictures of Patrick Crucius with the weapon is an AK-47 or like, right? Well, that's not really compatible with brown tip bullets. But brown tip bullets are compatible with M4s, the very weapon that Glendon Oakley Jr. said were absolutely there. And it would be really, really nice to ask him some more questions, but he was found dead in his barracks April 8th, 2020. Okay? That is shocking. That is just gives me shivers. because just a few months later, Richard also was forcibly removed, and we are in, we're told by the investigative research group that Richard um, died because of fighting back um, uh, when being forcibly removed, and that he was deceased before he even left Fort Bliss. We're hearing that too. So this is, we have several different witness statements, but this is what the investigative research group is telling us in Richard's case. And the responsibility for Richard's disappearance goes to Dallas Hart, because Dallas Hart was his platoon leader, and also Dallas Hart's mother, who has a long criminal history, even of fraud and lying to law enforcement community, lying to the police, um, was having an adulterous um, sexual relationship with, of course, Tavita Nusa, who's CID, who then, lost his badge and was removed from the military. So, this is, there's more, and there's so much more. And this is a border problem because we have multiple witnesses that say that Richard was then buried in multiple locations, okay? Multiple locations, one of them being in Juarez, Mexico. And, so that's also very disturbing. So this is a binational crime scene. This is definitely an Interpol investigation, and yet Richard's Interpol has been now withdrawn. Why has it been withdrawn? Do they know something? Has Richard been designated as deceased? Right? Has he been designated as deceased? And we'll see what the Army, there was the Board of Inquiry. They have plenty of information. The problem with the information is that there were bad actors, and some of those witnesses are not, a lot of those witnesses are not reliable. They're bad actors, and they have conflicts of interest, like Nadal Baim with Jesus Eddie Nieto Jr., with Cynthia Hernandez Nieto, an intelligence officer, with Bugado, right, with Lieutenant Colonel Bradford Bugado, with other people, and of course Angela Kachurga. We'll be putting out all the people involved in this. It's so profitable to do these border crimes, and one of the problems is that we have moral hazard. Okay, moral hazard. What is moral hazard? When you can make so much money on crime, and you choose that because the honest way of making a living is taxed so heavily, is regulated so heavily, is made, as far as property prices and rent and all of that, made almost impossible to start a small business, your loss of rights, what they did with the COVID mandates to small businesses. So you're trying to make an honest living, and uh, you know, they put these stupid, very destructive, though, mandates, COVID mandates on something that is totally unnecessary. Absolutely unnecessary. And I've said it for a long, long time. They were crimes against humanity, and people that had family businesses um, for years and years, generations. Uh, you know, Thank you God if you preserve some of them, but so many lost their small businesses. Um, it was just such a terrible thing, and it's still ongoing. And now we have this moral hazard. Okay, if I've lost this business, or I'm on the verge of losing it, and I've already declared bankruptcy, because a lot of these people involved in this case, they have bankruptcies, so they all have this money problem, or they know how to handle their money. They have a problem with it, and so that's not to diss them or anything. I'm just saying that that's a cause of moral hazard. Um, if you can just get into the cartel over Mexico and say, hey, I have access to these tactical move storage units. I can get you some ammunition, and especially those brown tip ones, because they're not really registered. I can get you some weapons. I can get you some equipment. Um, and they go, okay, and we'll give you big money, but we have some kids that we want trafficked. We have some child pornography we want trafficked. We this kind of moral hazard, just it's so terrible. And so it's so bad there, um, what they have done. And you know some people are living large off of uh, being the ringleaders of the moral hazard, the criminal syndicate, and of course the cartel is involved. And Ken Paxton said it himself, that even the presidency of the United States is in cahoots with the cartel. And we know that we have some very, very bad generals that are in cahoots with the cartel. And when you see the State Department sitting across the table from, yeah, uh, you have federal agents sitting across the table from state Mexican agents, just not the equal. If you're federal, you need to be speaking to your federal counterpart, not the state counterpart. And then giving them equipment, military equipment, gifting them military equipment. I saw a big problem with that. That's a big problem. Yeah. Like, we don't have anyone in the United States that needs this equipment, especially with all of our border problems. So, yeah, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. And there's so much more going on um, behind the scenes that we're just having to read through all of the documents that we're getting, and we're finding a lot. So, I like these names, and names that are associated with Brad Bugado. Very, very interesting names associated with him. He's not just anybody either. He's not just some guy. Bradford Bugado, the lieutenant colonel, is not just some guy either in the G3 of the 32nd ADCOM. And it's him being in the G3 of the 32nd ADCOM. That's not what makes him not some guy. It's other things. It's who he knows. And and maybe how he got into that position to be G3 of the 32nd ADCOM, right? So, so now his father-in-law is not just some guy, right? He's FBI. He's the father-in-law of Richard's command, right? The G3 32nd AdCom is Richard's command. So, and neither is Bradford Bugado. He is also connected. And so, uh, the truth is coming out every day. And some way, somehow, some when, um, not, how you say little children, when you're pouring something out or whatever you say when you want us to stop, right? Say when. Uh, I'm saying when right now, but it's all in God's timing. It will all break because the truth is coming out. And with all of the politics happening right now, with this year being an election year, uh, we should get some very interesting results in Richard's case. And our objective is always to get Richard, to get Richard. Okay? So if you have done Richard harm in any way, shape, or form, you need to come out clean. That's what I'm saying here. And, you know, because we're going to find what happened to his car. And so we've been very, very transparent. As soon as we know who's who, we put it out there. We don't put out something, it's the answer. Okay? So we're just letting everyone know that they need to come clean. So you can call 941-677-0060. Matter of fact, I need to check that roll. Um, uh, anyway, so I will check that, but absolutely call that number or the authorities and come clean. Okay, everyone, thank you. Oh, Anesia, thank you so much for coming on. Good evening. Thank you for your prayers and your love. And we will be back tomorrow, God willing. Okay, bye-bye. Please share. Please share and comment. It's for our one. I got a message today. This is like a little bonus message today that from a very good friend, very dear friend, that is like, Pat, I haven't seen your stuff, right? And I get a lot of that. We're being censored. So if you can share, that really helps that. But it's for our own safety. And this is a record. Doing these live streams are a record every day of what's going on. And it has an indication of what's going on behind the scenes, so that, we can use that later in the books, in the court hearings and everything like that. So because you have to put all of those, when I mention books, you have to be so ready before you go into court. Okay? Everything goes 1,000 miles an hour times 10 once you get into the court. So you better have all your ducks in the row, and you have to write it all down, record it, have it all laying out for you so that you can win the case. And absolutely, we want to get Richard's remains, and so we need to win the case and drive them to do the right thing to give us our son's body. So, yeah, thank you so much. God bless you. Please share, please like, and I will be back tomorrow, God willing.